The Ghost Agency and the 99% Margin. Section 1. The Grand Madison Avenue Illusion. Look at the world around you. Look at the traditional business model. It is fundamentally, structurally, and completely broken for the past 100 years. The rules of the corporate B2B game were incredibly simple. You rented a massive glass office in the center of a major city. You hired 20, 30, or 50 young, hungry college graduates. You bought them all expensive aluminum laptops. You paid for their health insurance, their sick leave, their vacations. And then you walked into the boardroom of a Fortune 500 company and you charged them a massive inflated premium fee. You charged them $100,000 a month just to cover the cost of your own bloated human overhead. That was the old game. It was a game of pure human leverage. The more humans you had sitting in physical chairs, the bigger your agency looked to the outside world, and the more money you could justify charging the client. But I am here to tell you, that entire era is completely dead. A new apex predator has entered the digital ecosystem. They do not have glass offices in New York. They do not have human resources departments. They do not have employees. Welcome to the unforgiving era of the ghost agency. Section 2. The Ancient Laws of Arbitrage. To understand exactly what is happening in the global economy right now, you have to understand one single ancient financial word: arbitrage. Arbitrage is the oldest way to generate immense wealth in the history of commerce. The definition is very simple. You buy a commodity in one market where it is completely undervalued, and you sell that exact same commodity in another market where it is highly valued. You keep the margin. In the past, arbitrage was always heavily physical. You bought cheap raw silk in a developing nation. You sailed it across a dangerous ocean, and you sold it in a wealthy boutique for a massive profit. But today, the most valuable commodity on earth is no longer physical. It is not silk, it is not gold, it is not even crude oil. It is cognitive labor, it is raw, structured intelligence. The modern solo capitalist is executing the greatest intelligence arbitrage in the history of capitalism. They are buying machine-generated digital intelligence for pennies, and they are selling it to terrified corporate clients for thousands of dollars. Section 3. The Autopsy of the Invisible Machine. Let us do a full forensic autopsy on this system. Let us look at how a ghost agency actually operates in the real world. Imagine a solo capitalist sitting in a dark room. He runs a highly profitable digital marketing agency. He has exactly 10 corporate clients. Each client pays him $5,000 a month on a strict retainer. That is $50,000 in monthly recurring revenue. If you look at the front end of his business, it looks like a massive, sophisticated operation. The client gets a beautiful digital dashboard. The client gets deep weekly market reports. The client gets 10 highly optimized blog posts every single week. The client gets 50 social media updates. It looks exactly like the output of a 20-person agency. But if you look at the back end, if you pull back the curtain and look at the actual architecture, it is a ghost town. It is completely empty of human life. There are no human copywriters. There are no human data analysts. There are no human project managers. There is only a meticulously orchestrated, highly resilient stack of API calls. It is a web of invisible digital agents talking to each other at the speed of light. Section 4. The Architecture of Synthetic Labor. Let me give you the exact blueprint of this invisible system. Let me show you the architecture that produces $500,000 a year. The solo capitalist uses a central orchestration platform. They use a visual node builder like make.com. This platform acts as the master brain of the entire agency when a client submits a new topic request. The master script instantly triggers an autonomous research agent. That digital agent scrapes the top 100 ranking articles on Google. It reads all 100 articles in less than 3 seconds. It analyzes the semantic keywords. It finds the hidden gaps in the market data. It then takes that massive block of raw data and passes it through a direct, secure API connection to a highly advanced reasoning model. The reasoning model drafts a 2,000-word hyper-optimized article. Then, a secondary agent wakes up. It acts as the strict editor. It reads the draft, it checks it against brand voice guidelines, it generates 5 custom graphics using a diffusion model. It automatically logs into the client's WordPress backend, and it formats the final post perfectly into the system. Finally, a distribution agent takes over. It slices that long article into 20 punchy microposts and schedules them across LinkedIn and X for the next 30 days. The entire process, from the client's request to global publication, took exactly 4 minutes and 12 seconds. Section 5, the economics of the token. Now, let us look at the brutal mathematics of this system, because the math is where this ghost agency completely breaks reality. In a normal legacy agency, servicing a $5,000 client would cost about $3,000. You pay the writer, you pay the designer, you pay for the office space, and you are left with a 40% profit margin and a massive headache from managing human emotions. But what about the ghost agency? What is the true physical cost of running that fully automated pipeline? Let us calculate the API tokens. The research agent costs exactly 4 cents in raw compute. The writing model costs exactly 12 cents. The image generation costs exactly 3 cents. The orchestration routing costs 1 single cent. The total cost to fulfill an entire month of heavy cognitive labor was less than $5. The corporate client pays $5,000. The digital machine costs $5 to run. The solo capitalist keeps $4,995 in pure profit. That is a 99.9% profit margin. This is not a normal business model. It is a legal printing press. Section 6, the death of the SaaS wrapper. This exact mathematical reality is why the traditional software as a service industry is quietly panicking. For the last 5 years, software founders got rich building wrappers. They took a raw complex API, they put a pretty colorful user interface on top of it, and they charged you $30 a month for a basic subscription. But the modern orchestrator does not need the wrapper. They do not need the pretty buttons. They go straight to the deep source. They buy the raw API tokens at cheap wholesale prices. Why would you pay a software company $100 a month when you can route the raw data directly to the foundational model? For fractions of a single penny, the digital middlemen of the internet are going straight to zero. The systems architects are bypassing them entirely and taking the margins. Section 7, the psychology of the trust premium. You might be asking a very logical question right now. If the AI is doing absolutely all of the work, why doesn't the corporate client just use the AI themselves? Why are they willingly paying the ghost agency $5,000 a month? This is the most critical psychological barrier you must understand. The client is not paying for the raw labor. The client is paying for the trust. The client is paying for the curation. Corporate executives are extremely busy people. They are terrified of making a bad mistake. They do not want to spend their weekends learning how to string API nodes together. They do not want to learn how to prompt engineer a language model. They just want a safe, guaranteed, perfect result delivered to their inbox. In a world where raw intelligence is abundant and free, trust, curation, and flawless execution become the most expensive commodities on earth. The solo capitalist is a digital curator. You stand firmly between the wild chaos of machine intelligence and the safe, reliable outcome your high-paying client demands. You are not selling cheap code. You are selling peace of mind. Section 8, autonomous client acquisition. But how do you find these high-paying clients in the first place? The ghost agency does not hire human sales representatives. They use autonomous swarm logic to hunt for new business. The solo capitalist deploys a fleet of lead generation agents. These agents crawl the internet 24 hours a day. They scan job boards to see which companies are actively hiring human marketing teams. If a tech company is trying to hire a human writer for $60,000 a year, they are a perfect vulnerable target. The digital agent scrapes the CEO's contact information. It analyzes the company website to find exact weak points in SEO. It generates a highly personalized, deeply researched cold email. It sends the email automatically. When the executive replies, another agent analyzes the sentiment and books a meeting on your calendar. The human orchestrator only steps in to smile on the video call and close the deal. Section 9, the extinction of the middle class. This brutal architectural shift is going to completely wipe out the white-collar middle class. The junior copywriter is gone. The mid-level graphic designer is gone. The social media manager is gone. These jobs are not slowly declining over time. They are evaporating overnight. They are being replaced by invisible digital pipelines, managed by a single highly focused human being who understands how to properly orchestrate the massive flow of data. It is a cold economic reality, but it is also the greatest asymmetric wealth opportunity in human history for the first time ever. Leverage is entirely decoupled from physical capital. You do not need $1 million loan to build a global agency. You do not need a fancy management degree. You only need intense curiosity, the ability to see the deep inefficiencies in the market, and the strict discipline to build an automated system to solve them. Section 10, the defensive moat of complexity. But what happens when everyone discovers this secret? What is your defensive moat? If AI is cheap for you, it is cheap for your competitor. Your moat is not the technology itself. Your moat is the complexity of your custom orchestration. Anyone can open a chat window and ask a basic question, but very few people can design a resilient, multi-agent system that runs flawlessly for months. Your moat is your proprietary data pipeline. The tools will constantly change. The models will get faster and cheaper. But the fundamental logic of how you connect the pieces together, that is your true, unstealable intellectual property. You must become completely tool agnostic. Do not fall in love with a specific software. Fall in love with the ultimate system architecture. Section 11, the orchestrator's psychology. The traditional career path is a dangerous trap. Trading your physical hours for a flat linear salary is a mathematically guaranteed path to total economic obsolescence. You must undergo a radical psychological shift today. You must become the orchestrator. Stop doing the manual work and start building the digital systems that do the work for you. Look closely at your current daily tasks. Look at what you do on a computer screen for 8 long hours a day. How much of it is mindlessly repetitive? How much of it is just moving raw data from one window to another? How much could be completely replaced by a 5-cent API call? If you do not automate yourself right now, the open market will violently automate you. You have a choice to make. You can be the victim of this economic shift, or you can be the architect of it. Build your ghost agency today. Stack your powerful algorithms together. Protect your massive profit margins. This is Digital Asean, decoding the hidden architecture of the new solo capitalist economy. Stay incredibly lean, stay fully automated. Signing out.